Okay, everybody, I'm not trying to be rude, respond quickly, but at the same time, I'm going to do it. So I have a following on YouTube. It's relatively small, little over 800. I appreciate all of you over there. But my thing about YouTube is they let the comments just like drown on and on and on. And like as a content creator who's also a divorced mother with 2 kids, like I don't have the time. I just don't. And I have a lot of other platforms that are way more pressing. And one of the posts I had shared was about people who friend zone and this and that. And people were all up in the comments about this. And then I mentioned spirituality. And then there were a few things that happened when I was just checking out the comment section over there. One, people were like, well, yeah, I need to form a friendship first before it's deeper and this and that. And they were wondering about the speed. And I'm like, but if you're already connected with spirit, the speed is irrelevant. The speed is dictated by the divine. And then they're like, well, what does spiritual mean? If you look up spiritual definition, like, you guys, I don't know how to explain this. Spirituality can be whatever you want it to be. It's just like love. And they were saying logically, words matter. And spirituality, the definition in XYZ. Alexa, what's the definition of spirituality?
Spirituality is usually defined as the quality or fact of being spiritual. For more, ask me to give you more definitions.
Wait, did you just hear AI do that? They just define spirituality as being spiritual. No one can define it, which is exactly the point. It's just like love. Alexa, what is love defined as?
Love is a complex emotion and can refer to a variety of different feelings, including strong attraction and emotional attachment. Love can be found in many different contexts, such as romantic relationships, parental love for children, or love for a pet. It is a universal experience that can take many forms, each unique in its own way.
So again, the language, love just saying each unique in its own way. Spirituality is unique in its own way. Now, with that said, if you'd like to know my interpretation and how I work with thousands of clients, I've done this for years, which my head is covered because my crown has been nuts today. And you'll see many cultures or religions do that. Some do it because they just do it out of programming. Others do it because they understand. The crown chakra is a real thing. How does that operate? Your head literally tingles. I've had clients be like, I thought I had lice. I was freaking out. I thought I had a brain tumor, right? If you feel like you have something like that, go to the doctor. Some of you, go take a penny, go take a nickel, go take a bobby pin, go take a dime. I dare you. Right now, you don't believe me. I want you to do it. Go take one of those items, nickel, penny, dime, key. Close your eyes and say, okay, spirit, if that lady on YouTube, TikTok is real, I hold it to my head. You're going to be able to hold it. Now walk around your house. Shake your head. Tell yourself to release it. Feel the energy of your pineal gland, your third eye. Third eye activation is real, right? That's how we call in visions, dreams, downloads. Your crown, once ascended, is like for me, when I'm doing channeled messages, when I'm doing ancestor pulls, when I'm doing tarot, love readings, etc. If I'm thinking, oh, I think they might drive a white, Honda Civic from the 90s, right? Like if I'm calling that in and then my crown tingles, then I'll say it. If my crown does not tingle, then I'll pause and be like, well, is it a white Ford, right? And then if my crown tingles, I'm like, okay. This takes a ton of practice, a ton of effort, a ton of time inward, which is where you see most religious folk or spiritual folks spend a lot of time alone. You'll criticize us. You'll say, oh, they don't have a lot of friends. They never go out. Or if they do, and they've been through all this trauma and they're so lonely. And why don't they have a huge marketing team? And why doesn't Ginger Mama have a ton of people to scroll through the comments? Because, if she was so great. Because we operate in what's called flow state. So if there's a higher power that be, which I believe there is, aka goddess, God, universe, source, creator, Abba, Allah, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? That energy wants to align us all with that higher crown enlightenment, which reminds us we're all connected as one, which is why if I do a reading for you, we can tap in that way, right? And so by being one, right, we are able to understand that if you align with that and I align with that and your neighbor does and your fellow neighbor and the whole world, then therefore we heal all the fucking problems of the world. And you're like, that's far-fetched. It's actually not. 144,000 is defined over and over again in the Bible. It's defined in numerology. It's defined in your DNA structure sequences. Go look it up. It's literally everywhere. And people will say, well, I'm one of the chosen 144,000. Neither here nor there. What the 144,000 represents is once we have 144,000 people who are activated following their upper crown chakras, such as Buddha and Jesus Christ did in the past, right? When we have people all activated doing that on planet Earth, the ripple tide effect that creates is massive. It's non-deniable. The energy supersedes everything. It is literally connected to everything, including AI, by the way. This is all connected. It's all one structure system. And that coding activates society and humanity like lightning speed. And a lot of people have this disbelief that can happen that quickly. It is happening that quickly. That's why you're like constantly like, what is going on? And why are relationships happening so quickly? And then why is this happening and that? And like this and in the dreams and the downloads, like all of it, right? And so people get overwhelmed by that. And yes, they run the risk of what we call spiritual psychosis, which is you're losing track of the groundedness because you don't have proper guides or teachers or leaders, which is what I'm trying to do and the others are trying to do, which most people have been doing on TikTok since 2020, if not earlier, which is why they want to shut it down, okay? And we're fighting for that energetically, in person, everything else. And so if you're not on TikTok and you think you're going through a spiritual awakening, you better march your booty over to TikTok, okay? Because that's where it's at. And, you know, to the rest of you that think you can just write pages and pages and expect energy from us as though we have people we're paying or some old matrix programming, like, no. You don't deserve my time in that way. If you'd like to book a reading, absolutely. Yes, my website's going through a revamp as I hit this next phase. And so the website will not be active. It will show inactive for about another week or 2 weeks. In the meantime, if you want a personal reading, email me at gingermamatarot@gmail.com. Per flow state, per the divine, I keep my readings very affordable. You're never going to find me charging you thousands of dollars for anything or hundreds of dollars. Heck, literally a 15-minute Zoom call is $33 personally with me. A half an hour is set at $44 right now, and an hour is $88. That's where we're at. Live readings on TikTok, I do those all day, every day. Not all day, but like most days for a few hours. Those are $22. And so I love you. I don't bite. I'm not upset. But like some of you are looking a little ignorant right now because it's like this has been going on. And you're sitting there arguing language that AI cannot even define. Like, do you hear yourself? 1055 as I say that, repeating number. You're arguing what spirituality is when AI cannot even define it. That's the point. You cannot define God, just like you cannot define love, just like you cannot define certain things. But your ego wants to define it because you're actually scared to surrender and embrace it with what it is for you. So the way I share and I post and I do my content will be different than another spiritual leader, teacher, person. We're not wrong, either of us necessarily. We're both in divine flow state. It's up to you as you get in divine flow state to ask your crown, to ask your dreams, to ask your visions, to ask your higher self if we're for you. If I'm not for you, please leave my content. I never hashtag content. I never pay for promotional content. I hire 0 people. And I've been doing this work for 3.5 years. I'm still in my home by the grace of God. I still paying for my kids. I'm doing what I need to do. But that's the thing. The ego that believes you can define a structure that exists within all of us and is interconnected over past lifetimes, future timelines, in all different galaxies and realities is a God complex you hold, not me. I've surrendered to the fact that there are people that they just will not wake up. So they will defend with, quote, logic. The only reason we have science and logic that is ever changing is because people question the status quo, which is what spiritual people do. They question the status quo. Oh, I think I can invent the light bulb. So they do. I think electricity could exist. I think we could redefine various terms. I think we could fly a plane. Do you understand? Like your capacity is so limited in your mind by the matrix that you can't see what's right before you that is literally here to help you, aid you, guide you, and get you to a place where when you create, you receive. When you exist in your own autonomy and freedom with faith and service onto the collective, you will always be abundant, happy, and provided for. It's that simple.